World War II was one of the most devastating and transformative events in human history. It spanned from 1939 to 1945, involving nearly every nation on Earth. More than 100 million people from over 30 countries participated in the war, which would change the course of history forever. It all began in September 1939, when Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. This invasion triggered Britain and France to declare war on Germany, starting the conflict. But the roots of the war go much deeper, as the world was still grappling with the aftermath of World War I and the Great Depression. Hitler's aggressive expansion across Europe was fueled by his desire to create a greater Germany and a new world order. By 1940, Germany had already invaded Denmark, Norway, Belgium, and France. With the fall of France, much of Europe was under Nazi control, and Britain stood alone against the Axis powers. In the Battle of Britain, the German Luftwaffe launched airstrikes against Britain, but the Royal Air Force, with its innovative tactics, held their ground, preventing a German invasion. Meanwhile, in the east, Japan had already started its expansion across China and into the Pacific. Tensions between Japan and the United States were escalating, and in 1941, Japan struck the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, bringing the United States into the war. This event was a turning point as the U.S. declared war on Japan, and soon after, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States. As the war raged on, the Allies, including the United States, the Soviet Union, Great Britain, and China, began to fight back. In 1941, the Soviet Union was invaded by Nazi Germany in Operation Barbarossa, one of the largest military operations in history. Despite initial successes, the harsh Russian winter and fierce Soviet resistance turned the tide, leading to a brutal stalemate on the Eastern Front. In North Africa, British and German forces clashed in the Western Desert Campaign, and the Allied invasion of Italy in 1943 began to erode the Axis powers' strongholds. On June 6, 1944, the D-Day invasion took place on the beaches of Normandy, France. Allied forces, led by General Dwight D. Eisenhower, successfully landed in Normandy and began liberating Western Europe from Nazi control. This was a major blow to Hitler's forces and marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. As the Allies pushed through Europe, Soviet forces were advancing from the east. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought from 1942 to 1943, was a turning point on the Eastern Front. The Soviet victory there, after months of brutal fighting, crippled Germany's fighting ability. By 1945, Nazi Germany was collapsing. On April 30th, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker in Berlin, and just a few days later, Germany surrendered on May 7, 1945. This marked the end of the war in Europe. However, the war was far from over. The conflict in the Pacific continued, as Japan showed no signs of surrender. The United States, under President Harry S. Truman, dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. These devastating attacks led to Japan's surrender on September 2, 1945, officially bringing World War II to a close. The war left an indelible mark on the world. Over 70 million people were killed, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust, carried out by Nazi Germany. Entire cities were destroyed, and much of Europe and Asia lay in ruins. The aftermath of the war led to the creation of the United Nations, an international organization aimed at preventing future conflicts, and set the stage for the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. World War II fundamentally reshaped the world, leading to the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, the decolonization of much of Africa and Asia, and the eventual establishment of a new international order. The courage and sacrifices of the millions who fought in this global conflict continue to inspire people worldwide, and the lessons of World War II remain vital to ensuring peace in the modern world.